Hi, it's Deb from Deb's Days. It's Tutorial Tuesday and today we're making another face mask. This one has wire in it so it fits better around the nose. Actually, it's not even Tutorial Tuesday, but heck, with all these stay-at-home orders, do we even know what day it is anymore? Seriously, I wanted to get this information out sooner than Tuesday, so that's why we have it today. This pattern is based on some of the feedback I've gotten from you. I have made it a little bit wider than my last one, and then I've added that wire piece as well. Before I get started, I publish new content frequently, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And check out the blog at debsdays.com. You'll find free sewing and crafting patterns and links to even more sewing and crafting tutorials. Now let's get this project started. For this project you will need a piece of fabric measuring 8 inches by 14 inches. I'm using 100% cotton. You'll need 2 pieces of elastic. These measure 7 inches each. I'm using the 1/4 inch wide elastic. You can use the 1/8 inch if you'd like. I'm going to need some clips or some pins. And since this is a mask using wire, I need a piece of wire. This is just floral wire. I cut it 7 inches long. I just used my needle nose pliers, but if you have an old pair of sturdy scissors, it should cut it pretty well. Before we do anything else with it, I'm going to curl the ends of this because I think it would be pretty uncomfortable if we just put it in as is. These ends might poke us. So just kind of curl it back on itself a little bit. Doesn't take much to do it. Okay, then I'm going to set that aside for now. We need to sew our fabric piece with our elastic. So first, I'm going to fold this in half, just like this. And then I'm going to iron it to make a little crease right there. You'll want a hot iron for this project, so make sure you've got it warmed up because you're going to need it more than once. The first thing I want to do is make a little channel for my wire. So I'm going to go along this edge here, about a 1/4 inch from the edge actually, and take a straight stitch all the way across. It makes a little channel for that wire. You can see I just went right about a 1/4 inch from the edge. I'm not going to stick this in yet. I will in just a little bit. I'm going to get the elastic going next. So I'm going to open this up. You can ignore this piece of fabric added to the end. I cut my fabric and then I realized I cut it too short, so I had to add some on. So I'm sure you've never made mistakes like that. All right, we're going to put the elastic right up here in the corner. We're going to face it to the inside. I'm going to close it up. And then I'm going to clip it in place right there. If you have a pin, you can use pins. And then I'm going to take the other end of the elastic and place it right in here, at this corner here. And I'm going to clip it. I'm going to go to the other side, open it up, place it right up here in that corner, close it up, pin it or clip it, and then grab the other corner down here. It goes right there. And get that clipped. Now you can see it's buckled a little bit, but as we sew, we're going to be able to hold that straight to stitch it. It's just the elastic that's making that happen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start here at this beginning of the stitching here. I'm not going to do anything with this little channel yet, but I am going to start at that stitching. I'm going to go here. I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to pick it up over here because we need to leave a space for turning. So I'll pick it up here. I'll go all the way around, all the way up to here, up to this stitch line again. All right, I left a spot open for turning here. I still have my channel here at the top. A couple things I should have mentioned. When you get to the elastic part, make sure you go over it a couple times to hold it into place well. And when you're sewing, make sure you don't catch your elastic in your stitches along the edge. I should have mentioned that. Now let's go ahead and clip our corners. Now it's time for us to add our wire to our little channel up here. Just feed it on through. You can see if it's too long or too short. It looks about right. Is if you leave this open too much, this actually pokes through your fabric when you're trying to turn it right side out. So really make sure that's closed up like that. And then I want you to center that inside that little channel. And then put some stitches here to hold it in place in the center. It'll make it easier for when we turn it right side out, because if we do it without closing these up, it's going to pop out too. So go ahead and take a couple stitches right here. Right. All right, I have that enclosed now. Let's go ahead and turn this right side out. It does make it a little trickier with that wire in there, but it is doable. It just takes a little extra time. You may find you need to get into those corners. You could pull on the elastic to make it happen, but you could also poke with something like, I'm using scissors, but you could use a chopstick, you could use a pencil, and there are actually things you can buy to help you do it. All right, and then go ahead and iron that flat. If you look at this side, this is where we left it open for turning. Make sure you turn it under and match it with the rest of your seam, because we're going to be sewing that closed in a bit. So first thing, let's go ahead and take a top stitch all the way around so we can get this side closed before we start with the easy peasy pleats. So remember, you have your metal piece, your wire up here. So come in about, a quarter of an inch. As you work it at the machine, make sure it stays up in that end. And then do about a quarter of an inch all the way around this here. Right, I've gone ahead and stitched all the way around. Now it's time for the pleats. And we're taking the easy way out. Here's my top where my wire is. Let's go ahead and flip it over, fold it in half, and press it. Open it up, and then use that center line as your next press line. Press it to that, and do the same on the other side. Press to that middle piece. This is going to be the beginning of our pleats. All right, we're going to open it up, turn it back to the front, and we have these little folds started. These are our pleat lines. So go ahead and grab your first fold, move it down a little bit. Grab your second one, move it down a little bit. Grab your third one, move it down a little bit. Kind of eye it, see if it looks like they're pretty close to the same on each side. The thing about pleats is they don't have to be perfect. The purpose of the pleat is to have it open to fit your face better. But they don't have to be perfectly measured. I'm using clips to hold it in place. You can use pins if you'd prefer. All right, I'm going to take this to the machine and I'm going to stitch right over that same stitching we just did a few minutes ago. And there you have it. And look, you have a nose piece that you can bend over your nose to fit better. If you'd like to see more projects like this one, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And stop by the blog at debsdays.com. You'll find free patterns, supply lists, and links to even more sewing and crafting tutorials. See you next week with another project.